Never in the history of the world have we been exposed to so much, so fast. Decisions, data, deadlines, disappointments, and of course, delays. And now we have the threat of invisible viruses added to the list. But we're still expected to be on the top of our game. Most of us hover in and out of warp speed just in our regular day-to-day lives. But factor in some of the things I've just mentioned, and we have a recipe called overload. Fortunately, there are many things we can do nutritionally to limit the negative effects of stress. Right here, I could go off on the effects of refined foods and sugar-laden drinks, but most of you know these effects. Instead, I'd like to remind you of another natural solution that really helps with stress, particularly short-term stress. The supplement is appropriately called de-stress. A research team at Nancy University in France noted the calming effects of breast milk on babies and theorized there was some anti-anxiety factor in breast milk. Both my children were breastfed, and we often joke that breast milk was like liquid Valium when you had an anxious baby. Little did we know what future research would reveal. The university team was able to isolate specific bioactive peptides from milk that have anti-anxiety activity. Several double-blind, placebo-controlled human trials done on this all-natural milk protein peptide demonstrated significant anti-anxiety activity. This particular peptide is called a decapeptide. A decapeptide is just a tiny fraction of the large milk protein molecule, which means people with milk sensitivities can usually take this product safely. In a 15-day trial, a number of physical parameters were measured pre and post-stress. They all improved compared to controls. In the milk peptide group, cortisol tended to normalize. Heart rate, blood pressure, and ACTH levels all appeared to return to homeostasis faster in the group who took the active component in de-stress. In addition to significant reductions in stress biochemistry, the study also measured subjective stress indicators. The study measured the perceived stress of the test subjects. After 15 days, subjects taking the milk peptide reported better sleeping and better perception of how their lives were progressing. This is important because both the physical markers associated with the stress and the subjective measures were both positively affected. What good is it to affect biochemistry if the patient doesn't feel better? 3 different scores were utilized to assess subjective patient data. The first was a perceived stress scale, meaning how much stress the subjects perceived in their life. Secondly, test subjects were asked to rate each day as a good day or a bad day during the 2-week trial. And lastly, subjects rated their nights during the study as good nights or bad nights. In all 3 subjective indicators, the control subjects' perceptions stayed the same, while those who took the active component in de-stress perceived less overall stress, and they felt they had more good days and more good nights than before the study. There are many natural remedies available that can bring a feeling of relaxation, such as St. John's wort, kava kava. The ingredient in de-stress was tested against these remedies and against the control in an animal model. Using a global anxiety score, subjects were exposed to stressful situations and monitored. If you look at the graph on this page, the results show the group who received the active components in de-stress had significantly lower anxiety scores than the control group, St. John's wort or kava kava group. We all know that many drugs like benzodiazepines used in anxiety management have side effects like dependency issues, tolerance issues, and memory loss. De-stress has been shown to be safe and free of any of the side effects seen with other pharmacological agents. The dosage used in the studies was between 100 and 200 milligrams twice a day. Biotics makes a 150 milligram capsule, so you can titrate the dose based on weight and stress levels. Most of the things we use clinically take a while to take effect. Not so with de-stress. You can often feel the effects within the hour. However, the real effects seem to be seen within 2 weeks. So here we have a natural substance that's not habit-forming, takes the edge off, and in many cases allows people to get a good night's sleep to reset their homeostasis for the next day. Sure, we want to address any underlying causes for prolonged stress, but sometimes we need to break the stress cycle. There are times in our lives when we could definitely benefit from a supplement like de-stress. Thanks for taking time to be with me this week. I look forward to being with you again next Tuesday.